The Ugly Duckling. Once upon a time, in a peaceful farmyard, there lived a little duck who had just hatched a brood of adorable ducklings. However, there was one duckling who seemed different from the rest. It was not as cute and fluffy as its siblings, making it the subject of ridicule among the other animals. Despite its unconventional appearance, the mother duck loved her little one unconditionally. She knew that beauty went far beyond outward appearances. Determined to introduce her whole brood to the world, she brought them to the farmyard, hoping they would find acceptance. An old turkey, who was very grand, came up to the duck and said, "Your children are all pretty except one. I wish you could improve him a little." "That is impossible, Your Grace," replied the mother. "He is not pretty, but he has a good disposition, and swims even better than the others." "Well, the other ducklings are graceful enough," said the turkey. "Please try to make yourselves at home here." But how could the ugly duckling do so? The whole farmyard laughed at him. The ducks pecked him, the fowls beat him, the girl who fed the poultry drove him away with a stick. Feeling rejected and hurt, the poor duckling took flight and sought solace with some wild ducks on the moor. Even there, however, it faced similar judgment. "You are very ugly," said the wild ducks, "but that will not matter to us." After he had been on the moor a few days, he made friends with some of the wild geese. Unluckily, the geese soon after journeyed south for the winter, leaving him all alone. The poor duckling was so frightened that he hid himself amongst the rushes. When all was quiet, he came out and ran over the moor till he reached a tumble-down cottage, the door of which was ajar. He crept in and stayed there all night. A woman, a cat, and a hen lived in this cottage. The hen had such short legs that her mistress called her Chickie Short Legs. The old woman let the duckling live in her house, hoping that one day soon it might lay eggs. Now the cat was the master of the house, and the hen was the mistress, and they always said, "we and the world," because they thought themselves half the world, at least. One day the duckling said sadly, "It is very dull here. How much I should like to swim in the water and to dive." "What a foolish idea," said the hen. "You have nothing else to do, therefore you have strange fancies. If you could purr or lay eggs, your fancies would disappear. Ask the cat, the cleverest animal I know, if he would like to dive in the water. Ask our old mistress, there is no one in the world more clever than she. Do you think she would like to let the water close over her head?" "You don't understand me," said the duckling. "I think I must go into the world again." "Very well, go," said the hen, and the duckling went. Very near the cottage he found some water, where he could swim and dive, but all creatures avoided him because he was so ugly, therefore he was always alone. One evening there came a beautiful flock of birds out of the bushes. They curved their graceful necks, while their soft plumage shone with dazzling whiteness. The duckling felt quite a strange sensation as he watched them fly up in the air. He stretched out his neck towards them, and uttered a cry so strange that it frightened himself. How he loved the white birds! How he longed to be with them! Soon winter came, and the water froze over. The ice crackled round the duckling and at last shut him in, so that he could not get out. Early in the morning a peasant who was passing saw what had happened, broke the ice with his axe, took up the duckling, and carried it home to his wife. The warmth revived the poor thing, and the duckling began to fly about. The children wanted to play with it, but they only frightened the poor thing. The duckling ran to the door, which was open, and managed to slip away among the bushes, where it lay down in the new fallen snow. It is very sad to tell you that all the ducklings suffered that cold winter, but spring came at last, and the young bird felt that his wings had grown strong. He flew away, and stopped at last in a beautiful garden near a fine piece of water. On it he saw two magnificent white birds swimming. "I will fly to those royal birds," he thought. "They will reject me because I am ugly, but I would rather be shunned by them than pecked by ducks, or beaten by hens." So he flew to the water and swam towards the swans, bowing his head meekly. But what did he see in the stream? Not a dark gray ugly duckling, but a beautiful swan. To be born in a duck's nest in a farmyard does not matter to a bird if it is hatched from a swan's egg. Yes, he too was a swan. Now he would have friends to love him, and nobody would scorn and hurt him anymore. He rustled his feathers, curved his slender neck, and cried joyfully, "I never thought such good was in store for me when I was an ugly duckling." With renewed confidence, the swan ruffled its vibrant feathers, arched its slender neck, and cried out in pure elation. It never could have imagined such a wondrous destiny awaited, even in the darkest days of its life as the ugly duckling. And so, dear friends, the story of the ugly duckling teaches us the extraordinary power of self-discovery, resilience, and embracing our unique beauty. It reminds us that appearances are fleeting, but the essence within us, our true nature, is timeless and can transcend any adversity. Now, let us spread our wings wide and embark on our own journeys of self-acceptance and transformation, just like the remarkable ugly duckling.